Hello, and welcome to Greet the Week. I'm Mona Duncan, and our topic today is about interest added. I'll bring up the screen here. I have a little thoughts that we can look at. The interest added in reading the news and in just looking at what's going on in life in general, I begin to see that interest, and knowing about how that interest, if you put money into the bank and live off of a certain portion and keep some there that is adding interest, that can really help you in the long run. The older you get, and the more your life grows and your family grows and all that kind of stuff. And so, in looking at the world today and all of the conflicts that are going on, and maybe if we took more time to really look at the individual interests and how we really are all alike, we are more alike than we are different. We all have these same basic needs to live and to enjoy and to have, make decisions, and to be able and capable and all of that. And so sometimes if we could just listen to one another and actually hear what the other person is saying, it could be more peaceful than the world is currently, universally. So this goes back to just a little whatever thoughts that came to my mind back in 2016. But in looking at adding interest, a universal melting pot, we're in it together, like it or not. Irritant, blessing, accepting, protesting, the recipe calls for yielded resting, creating the wonder of Camelot. And not a fairy tale land, but where we can work together as human beings and appreciate one another and go with the ultimate question in life. Are we destroying or are we bringing together? So here just have some thoughts to go. That true success involves mutual gain. That it's not, too one-sided. That is for the benefit for all. And as we pursue this mutual gain, while believing in others, being others oriented, then we begin to bring balance. And that balance helps us to result in improved service, increased products, more jobs, charitable giving, and a higher standard of living for everyone, going back to the interest added. And then also to get a goal and to go. That's something I came up with several years ago in working with different organizations and so forth. Get a goal and go. And some of the things coming underneath that is that there is a universal need. Well, I've got a goal. I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. And so I began to break it down. So I really believe, or I think I believe, that if there is something that we need universally, like to get along, like to appreciate one another, like to realize that we can be different and still cooperate with each other, that this universal, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe like fireflies that fly around and spark a little bit, you see them here. And so you begin to have these ideas. And a lot of people, goes down to point number 2 here under get a go, that we get this universal idea of, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to help heal, help have more fun, etc. And a lot of people will receive these thoughts, receive these ideas, and really think about, yes, I'm going to do that, going to do that, going to do that. But the thing of it is most of us, all 8 billion of us on planet Earth, most of us will dismiss the thought after a while. Oh, that was sounded good. I really wanted to do it, but no, I'm not up to that. And then a few will begin. But all too often, we just let it slide. And over here, in looking at things coming into balance, I like that little graphic there. I think that's really neat. That anyway. So, in wanting to then be more beneficial to family and friends and neighborhood and jobs in particular and the world in general, to develop a personal code of ethics and to formulate guidelines of who you are, to really think about you and what you want to do and what you want to be, and formulate those guidelines and actually write them down so that you can look at them again and again and self-evaluate as to whether you agree with this or whether you disagree with it, and include what you will do or what you will not do, so that you can, so that whenever you come to this closed door or open door, do you just walk through? Do you knock on the door that's closed? Do you try to open the door that's closed? Include what you will do and what you will not do. And have develop a personal creed. Once we begin to really develop that, it kind of breaks off into our duality, in that it helps us to set limits while at the same time, and this seems a little odd, that how so many of the things, instead of either or, it becomes a both and, that gives you the personal code of ethics to set the limits, but also to extend some boundaries, because we can begin to see outside, we can begin to see more. And then to make your vision as visible or as viable as your breath. And you know what? That breath is really, really important, because it will, as long as we can continue to breathe and we don't even become aware of the fact that we're breathing. And in being aware of the fact that, you know, whether we're holding our breath, sometimes people can hold their breath and not even realize that they're being caught up with something. So making our visions, making our personal goals, making our code of the ethic as visible and as viable as breathing. And understanding the two-way street of cooperation, or of how to negotiate with others. And so here's an example of that cooperation. A company chooses to hire you, but you also chose to be hired. And so the result is that the company's goal automatically becomes your goal. So going back up to formulating the guidelines of who you are, do you want to, or are you willing to work for a company that you don't even believe in what their products are, or what their goals are, or what their ultimate vision of the business is? And so it's realizing that we begin to learn and to make and to live those tough decisions. Not to degrade anyone, but if it's not for you, it's not for you. And being understanding the humanity of it. So here's just a couple of, well, actually 3 suggestions for being ethical in everything we do. And to write 3 principles by which you will govern your life, and how in these 3 principles, at least 3, maybe more, that you will not waver from. And also thinking about how these determinants will be communicated. If that's a principle that I am living by, how can people grasp that? And then be aware of the comments that they may make that is affirming or contradictory to, so that we can begin to see how are we wavering from those principles that we have of our own self-evaluation given credence to. And then also to list one, at least one, or maybe go on up to 5, some specific goals and how you will implement them. And we're starting out from the seed itself, just from that idea. That was not even the seed. but then planting that seed so that it can grow and nurturing it and giving it ample opportunity to grow. And so always, always, always to focus on people and the humanity of individuals. And down here, this little graphic I have is all kinds of people. And realizing that in being who we are, there is a difference in buying and selling. You know, everybody kind of wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. We want to come to those conclusions on our own and looking at that from a humane point of view and being a good role model so that if others do mimic you, it will be one that's a good role model, not one that you're embarrassed of and ashamed of. And then always, always looking at the both and that others are always watching us, but others are also watching you. That we would take our eyes as we begin to take our eyes off and judgments away from, what we think of someone else and how they're doing it or how they're speaking it, and then realizing that others are always watching you. And there may be some judgments there or maybe not. And knowing that reputation is what people know about you, while ethics is what you do when no one is around and what you know about you. So, this has been short, and I hope I was able to communicate it in a way that you can maybe understand what I was trying to say. But thank you for being here, and many blessings to all.